Everyone, welcome to this GT Academy video. This is a old race of a lot of GT Academy finalists actually. A lot of Americans in this. There's a German guy in there as well, and I think Adam is up at the front as well. So I joined this lobby. This was the first race, so it's sort of trying to get used to the car really quickly. But a bit about GT Academy and basically what happened at the European final. So we got there Tuesday night, and I think it was Tuesday night, and yeah, we were staying in these snooze boxes at Silverstone. Surprisingly, they're really small. Like, most of you will have a bathroom about the same size as this entire place that you live in, but they're actually really comfiest bed I've ever stayed in. So that was pretty good, but obviously the nerves were there, and you sort of get tension as well. So like, you'd wake up at 6 AM in the morning naturally because you knew it was like still the competition and stuff. So that was a pretty weird feeling, waking up naturally at 6 AM even though you go to bed at like 11 trying to get to sleep. But yeah, so we stayed in the snooze boxes, and then obviously we had the competition. I unfortunately didn't win, as you've probably seen. Miguel won from Portugal, so fair play to Miguel there. We'll be watching. I'll definitely be watching, see how he gets on. It's pretty awesome. The UK, Adam was the winner of the UK Team GB, who was chosen by our judges. So our judges were Paul, Jan and Paul O'Neill, touring car driver. Jan, obviously the UK winner, who's doing amazingly well at the moment in F3. And we've got Tiffany Chittenden, who's a World Championship karter, and she races as well. So they chose Adam. I unfortunately got eliminated on, well, it's going to be filmed as day 2, I believe. So when it gets put out on telly, you'll see me get eliminated then. Basically, I just made too many mistakes, really. As you can imagine, on the first day, we did the sort of a benchmark, which they do in every GT Academy, which was okay. My practice runs weren't too bad, and then I obviously knew what I had to do. We had one flying lap basically, so I went out and I misgeared going into cops, but it wasn't too bad because it's a fast corner, so even if you go into the wrong gear, you don't lose too much time because you're still maintaining quite a high speed. But then I also misgeared going into, coming out of, Love Field. I went from second to third, and I must have just slightly missed the gearing slightly, so it went slightly into third and just bounced back to neutral, and you lose so much time coming out of Love Field going onto National Straight that, you know, obviously it could be half a second. So that put me into the bottom 3 essentially, which was, you know, it was gutting, but obviously you've just got to go from there really. We had then a stock car race. Just before that I was told I was in the bottom 3 of the UK, so I obviously had to perform, and I did perform in that race. I don't want to spoil that too much, but I won one race, and yeah, you'll see what happens in the other race. Hopefully they show the other race first, because that was my best race, I think. But yeah, you'll get to see that. It was a pretty awesome race, that. So that kept me in. So I wasn't the first to be eliminated at the UK. Unfortunately, that was Shane. He must have just done something similar to me on the benchmark, and then obviously didn't perform as well as I did in the micros, in the stock car micros. So that led to Shane unfortunately being eliminated. And obviously at that point as well, it makes the competition real, like, you know, somebody actually being dropped straight away. So we then went into sort of the day 2 in quotes there, and we did a gymkhana, which was pretty much the most craziest thing I've ever done in my life. So we got a practice run. We got 2 practice runs actually, and yeah, the practice runs weren't the same as the flying run. So they basically showed you the course, you know, gave you an idea of where you're going basically, and then obviously I asked about a few things, and they were like, yeah, there'll be a few surprises on your flying run. So I got an amazing start actually in that gymkhana on my flying run. I got a really good start. I came into the slalom very quickly, which was quite nice. The slalom was the first bit. But I went into, there was a bit area of that where you do donuts, and I made a huge mistake there. I'll say it's huge. Basically, I went in and you have to do 3 donuts basically around the barrel. I went in, I just went in a bit too hot, and the car gripped as well. So the rear didn't come out, and I had to try and reverse to then get the car into a place where I could actually do the donuts. Unfortunately, it took me about 20 seconds, something like that, to get it into reverse. I just couldn't get it in. At one point, the guy who sat in with me was, I was trying to get it in. I thought I got it in. I was like, yes. He was like, yeah, go. And I was still in 6th, and I was just like, come on, can't get it in. So I eventually started reversing and did the track at that point, and then being really aggressive, like crazily aggressive. Which, as you've probably seen in the American one last year, we had a pit crew at the end of ours near a water feature, we'll call it. And yeah, that cost me a penalty as well, because I came into that, we didn't have that on the practice run, came into that just a bit too hot. I was the first to go out the UK guys as well, and yeah, I sort of hit the pit crew. Only just like, I just locked my wheels, and I tried coming off the brakes to just obviously release them slightly and go back on, but the water feature helped with the lock in there. So yeah, that cost me, and then I went into a telemetry test with 370Z Nismo, and I was just over aggressive. There was one part of the track where I was over aggressive, and I sort of realised that afterwards, like for me, if I could look at my telemetry for an hour and actually really get a study of it, which a lot of guys, you know, in real racing, you do get that sort of time afterwards. You know, you think of F1, they have the practice runs, they can look over the data, have a real like sift through, you know, try and get the final bits. But I only got a quick, we only had a quick discussion with Paul, one of the judges, about where I was going wrong, and I improved on where I was going wrong, because it's the braking, but I also wanted to have a look at that section, but obviously the time was pressing, so I wasn't allowed to, and that's where I lost loads of time. And you know, I did think about that, and when I eventually got eliminated, I actually went back out on the Stowe circuit in the 370Z Nismo. It was a bit raining this time, but I then was the fastest on track, because I pulled it right back, because I knew where I went wrong. I pulled it right back on that section, and I was just flying around there like crazily, and I could see it straight away. I could probably say that I was probably putting in the same laps, even though it was wet, in that car and that run. So I was a bit gutted about that, but obviously it's nice to know where you lose time. So yeah, and I was out at that point, but you still get a nice little elimination package. We went to London and things like that. The judges were awesome, you know, I can't complain. They acted like professionally, but you know, they know it's tense, and they had to make hard decisions as well as us about eliminating guys and things like that. So fair play to Paul, Tiff and Jan on that one. But obviously, because I got eliminated, I'm not going to be a Nismo athlete, a racing driver. But that's not going to be where my racing dream ends. So I'm looking for, at the moment, I'm just looking for where I can get into racing, and maybe just find, you know, I don't care what racing it is, you know, give me an engine and 4 wheels and I'll go for it. You know, same as the micro stock cars, you know, I'll absolutely go for it. And I'm always willing to learn and things like that. So I'm going to be looking at that. I may look at getting a sort of bog standard production car and trying to turn it into a rally car. So I'll keep you posted on videos like that. So that's my future of racing, and I'll just mention videos. Where's the channel going now? Well, basically, I'm going to finish off the Ronin vs OPC racing series. There was 2 races left. We'll do a little recap for next Monday, and then we'll get the final 2 races on the go. Because that was still a close drivers' championship in that, if you remember, so that'll be a good finale to that one. And then I'm hoping to actually set up a championship for you guys to race in. So basically that championship is going to be stock cars, so you're not tuning them in the slightest, you literally buy them and race them. And I'm still to work out the details on that yet, so I'll let you know, but I think it should be good. I mean, this race you're watching now is, you know, we're all in stock Silvias just racing round. I've got caught up in a huge battle here, so obviously I'm a bit further back on the grid, but having a good race with Super Nasty, so you know, good racing's fun racing. As well as that, I'm obviously going to be racing myself in some championships, hopefully, and then we'll also get some of the seasonals down as well. And don't forget, I was running through the licenses and Gran Turismo 5 as well before the GT6 release, so I'll get some of those videos out as well. But you know, with GT6 coming out as well, I want to look at trying to, you know, get more gameplay of that out as well. Obviously you guys have seen a lot of GT5 videos probably by now. But GT6, you know, I managed to play a bit of that at the European boot camp, and you know, I do like that game, so it'd be nice to play it. So if you guys have any preference for any sort of video that you want to see, obviously GT related, or maybe even another racing game, if you wanted to see me try out another racing game, I'm more than happy to do that, and I might actually do that as well. But yeah, so you know, I didn't win GT Academy, but I gave it my all. A few mistakes, but mistakes happen in that sort of high tension environment. You can't help it really, can you? You know, I'm not going to give up on racing. You can never give up on your dream. So even if you may not be able to qualify for GT Academy, still try and look for where you can race. Even if you go go-karting, or you know, you like Finland and countries like that offer this people racing. That's awesome. You should get involved in that if you can. It's cheap racing, and you know, it's fun racing. Oh, and that's another thing as well, because I met the Scandinavian team and people like that there as well. It was awesome meeting everyone like that. So that's basically the end of this video now, as we're coming around on the last corner. It's been a bit side to side with Super Nasty. Cheers for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week with the OPC versus Ronin GT Racing.